I'm on an island technically, but somehow I feel less trapped. Here I thought I had 20/20 vision, but I guess that's only in retrospect. In retrospect, picking my unconscious, Freud would say I stayed for the sex. Freud would say I'm anal expulsive. I get way too much pleasure from bullshit. That I knew the end from the beginning. I knowingly watched myself disappear. And for what? I suppose there wasn't much. A hand to hold, clammy as it might have been, a phone to call, on the off occasion it was on. I remember you said, I wish you would become a vegetable so I could take care of you. Red flag. I remember you saying you would change. I remember aching to believe you. I remember giving you proof that I was at a doctor's appointment. Red flag. I remember begging you to take me back, waiting outside Callaway's in my blue beater as everyone peeked my pathetic performance. I was 50 pounds heavier then, and I never thought I was fat. I remember crying for proof of my love. I remember watching you snort lines, pushing that crystal powder around with your expired license. I remember how much you loved me after a line. You're good at converting oxy into love, especially when I'm buying it. I remember sleeping on filth with you, being miserable for you, but having to put on that smile, inspire that optimism, because that was the only fuel that kept you going. No pressure there. I remember seeing you high and feeling relief, because if you were high, you were happy. And then sex would come. Sex would, but you wouldn't. There is no climax when you've been high all day. Was there ever a climax? A resolution? There sure were complications. I remember you saying, no one would ever love me as much as you do. Red fucking flag. I don't know how long it will take. What trigger will push me forward to the point where I don't think of you every time I look at me, where I don't filter my thoughts through yours, where I don't wonder how you would want me to wear my hair or do my makeup. But it turns out I'm not guilty. I don't feel guilty when I spend my money, when I listen to my music, when I talk to an old friend, hang out with my mom, stare at a girl's ass, wake up early. I don't feel guilty when I stay up late. Hug people, get drunk. Wonder what someone's lips taste like. The texture, if they would puzzle piece with mine, if their tongue would seek mine, or if they would stay modest, if hands would wander shortly after, if it would rock my world, it would shatter yours. I remember how you fed off my pain, smiled as I cried, so satisfied with the mindless monster you had molded for me. I disappeared for weeks after that. My family hadn't seen my face, and I hadn't seen myself. How can I look in the mirror and see you? When did your gaze replace mine, and how long will it be before I can see myself again? I remember screaming so loud at you in the car that it was no longer words, just frustration and resentment and denial of both being forced out of my throat like projectile vomit. I remember feeling empty, searching for more, considering my options secretly. I remember you buying $150 worth of heroin and cocaine on New Year's Eve that you planned on selling to pay rent. I remember you saying you got heroin and cocaine because those are two drugs you don't have a problem with. I remember you doing every bag. By the beginning of 2012, you had more powder up your nose than I had patience left for you. My friends and family watched as I lost 50 pounds of fat. But how do I measure soul, self-worth, independence, happiness, optimism, sense of humor, capacity to love, desire to love, desire to live? Anyhow, I'm putting on weight.